Good evening, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And in this episode, we're talking about chasing two rabbits. You can't chase two rabbits. Now, for most people in marketing, what actually it looks like is we're chasing 50 rabbits. How does this happen, you say? Well, first of all, do I need to explain that? Chasing 50 rabbits? What I mean is we listen to a podcast and we're like, it's a great idea. And so we kind of go down that rabbit hole. And then we go to a conference and we get another idea. And we're like, it's a good idea too. And then we kind of consume a little bit of that. Then we read a book that we heard about at our networking event and we consume a little bit of that. And pretty soon, as we amass this half-baked, incomplete library or archive of concepts, ideas, information, strategies, we've implemented maybe a fraction of what really is taught, and we get bored and we move on to the next thing, or we get impatient because it didn't work and we move on to the next thing. And so what we end up with is this collection of all of these ideas that we're trying to learn from and implement, but we're not doing any of them well. And so this is what I mean by chasing 50 rabbits. Like we're all over the place and we're pulled in all sorts of directions. So here's how we tame this madness, right? This is super simple. First of all, let me say this. This confusion leads to paralysis. I mean, if you get too confused and you're chasing 50 rabbits, at some point you just stop chasing rabbits and you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses have found themselves in that place, right? We're like, I don't know what to do in marketing, so I won't do any marketing. Until you get in a financial pinch, you're like, I should probably figure this out. And then you go back to the same pattern of chasing multiple rabbits. Partly because we're frugal. Let's use that word. Is that a euphemism? We're frugal, or we're in a financial pinch. So we're like, I can't afford a bunch of fancy programs. So we try to patchwork a bunch of ideas from a bunch of free stuff, hoping that will get the job done. But look, here's the thing about that. The free stuff almost never gets the job done. It's designed that way, right? So, how do we get to the other side of this? Well, what's possible on the other side of this, first of all, is that you could actually have some lasered focus, right? You could have laser focus in your marketing, in your business, with major traction that comes from that kind of focus, where people are resonating with your content. People are connecting with you in your marketing. But to do that, to have that type of focus and get that kind of traction with real people who actually want to consume your marketing, you have to start to simplify what all the stuff you're consuming. So here is the principle. Here's the mindset you have to have, right? And that is, find the model that fits for you. Find a marketing model that fits for you. And then go all in. Go all in. Years ago, my wife and I had this very small season where we watched the World Series of Poker. And our kids were super young at this time. And it was interesting, right? To watch the psychology of somebody and the skin in the game when somebody put all their chips in. And they were risking it all on that bet. Either that they had the cards or the other person was bluffing or whatever, but they were all chips in. And they would stand up, right? Because they're like, oh man, I'm all in. I'm freaking out right now. I just put all my chips in. But it wasn't like they were betting at other tables. It was all in on that move. And some of you need to go all in on a strategy, not 10 strategies, 50 strategies, not 10 gurus, 50 coaches. You need to find someone and something that fits for you. So how do you find that? Well, it needs to be in alignment with your values. When I was younger, I used to just look for the information that sounded interesting, right? It could be Facebook ads. Yeah, this seems important. Or that was one for me. Podcasting was another one. I really need to learn podcasting, right? So I would go after the information, but I wasn't really paying attention to who. Does this person and does the principle of this information align with my own values? Can I see myself doing this every day? Does it make sense? Does it resonate with my heart and my soul? Not just my head and my strategic brain, but does it actually resonate in here in my heart? And so you have to find that. Once you find that, then you can go test the information some more, right? Look for reviews, testimonials. Does it seem to have a solid foundation for the method that they're teaching, right? And then go all in. And to go all in, listen guys, this is the hard part. To go all in means cutting off other information. You're going to have people in your life that want to give you advice and input. Tune that out. You're going to be wanting to listen to the old podcasts that you've always listened to, and you'll be like, oh, but I just heard another great idea from this podcast. And that's going to swerve your focus, and now you're chasing two rabbits. And pretty soon, if you let yourself back to the old pattern, you pick up a different book. Somebody recommended a book, and you're like, oh yeah, let's go read that book. And you get lazy and you're disciplined, so you'll read the book, and now you're chasing three rabbits. And you see how we're back into this lack of focus, all over the place approach to marketing, and so you never do anything well. You have to get to a place where you can master the model that you're after, that you have chosen, that you've gone all in on. So let's wrap with this. You need, if you really want to master marketing, then you've got to pick a model that feels congruent and authentic to you. That's not just about the information of it. It's about the strategy and the principles and the values of it. And a lot of times it comes back to the person that is teaching it. Do you have a connection with the person that is teaching it? If you have that, then it's time to go all in and cut off all the other points of input. And then you've got to, okay, so then I'll take this one step further. Going all in means you've got to do the work. Going all in does not mean attending all the classes and listening to all the things that people say. Going all in means doing the work and trusting the process. So it means show up when you need to show up, do the work when you're assigned the work, and even when you don't know how to do it all, even when you can't figure it out intellectually, like I don't see how this all connects, you still just trust the process and you commit and you go all in and you do the work. That's the process of mastery. And that's how you start to get mastery and focus and traction in your marketing. But it comes from picking one rabbit, chasing that rabbit, and going all in. All right. If you guys would like to learn more how I teach marketing and the work that I help people through in their marketing, because you've connected with me at a heart level, not just a mind level, but you and I have a connection about how we think about marketing and humanity, then I invite you to start my free course called Marketing for the Rest of Us, the course, and you can get that at groundswellmethod.com. All right, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until then, take care.